The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
And now, broadcasting live from MainEventMadness.com and brought to you by Spreaker, it's Main Event Madness. Our wrestling, your sports, simply madness. And now, here are your hosts, Al Merriman and John Curry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a couple week absence. Main Event Madness Radio. How are all of you? It is a special Friday edition of the podcast, January 23rd, 2015. We are, 2 days away from the Royal Rumble event. I am excited. Al could not be here. They are awaiting the birth of their second child, Al's second child and her third child, I believe. But nonetheless, we came out guns a-blazing to replace Mr. Merriman this week from our sister show, or brother show, I guess you could say in this case, Wrestling's Rope Break. We have Aaron Ramadanov, and from Wrestling-News.net, seems to be the man who answers the call every week, Wayne Daly. How are you, gentlemen?
I'm good.
I'm doing all right myself.
It's
going to be a fun show.
Oh, it's going to be an awesome show. We got a jam-packed show. A couple topics that are a little bit dated, but we haven't been on the air in a couple weeks, and there was a few of them I wanted to cover. And, of course, above all of that, we have TNA Star Gunner going to be with us in about an hour's time from now. Ecstatic about that interview, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be live here on Main Event Madness Radio. You guys are really going to enjoy it. And, what a time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, we had a kick-ass Monday Night Raw a few days ago. We got the Royal Rumble event, which is looking like one of the best pay-per-views that's not called WrestleMania that WWE's put together in quite some time. And then, of course, we have WrestleMania coming up in about 2 months. I mean, am I the only one who's this excited? I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm just getting fired up. And you can hear how excited both of these gentlemen are because neither one of them. Aaron, I'll go to you first, man. How excited are you for the road to WrestleMania to finally be kicking off, even though it feels like just yesterday we were right in the thick of the Yes movement?
I feel like we always kind of say that about the WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble. I feel like we've always kind of think that this is the kind of the kickoff. I actually don't feel that way. I think after the February pay-per-view, after Fastlane, we kind of get really into it. Because I feel like we say that and then we go, oh, well, we still got to wait a whole another 2 months for WrestleMania. But I do get your point with the Royal Rumble. It kind of sets the landscape and begins the process of getting, a set card for WrestleMania. I'm excited, man. I love the interactions between, we saw this past Monday with Sting and Triple H, and just a bunch of great stuff.
And, before I get to Wayne, I just got to remind Wayne. Wayne, do you know what today is?
Hump Day!
No, that would be our normal day.
Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
Not that.
But, how are you excited for this Sunday's Royal Rumble event, which we will get to, I believe, later in our... Later this hour, I believe. Yeah. Sorry, I had to take a look. I should have had this memorized by now. But, hey, it's Main Event Madness. That's what we do. Are you excited, man, or what?
I'm very excited, and I actually believe that last Monday's Raw actually started the build towards WrestleMania. Because, in my opinion, the way they're going to take it, it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Cena's going to win the title and go on to face either Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns. And you got Triple H versus Sting. all of that was set up on Monday night.
A little bit of a bold prediction there, Aaron, don't you think? Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of left everything up in the air as of right now, and that's the great thing about the Royal Rumble right now is that there's really no one really knows what's going to happen. And that's the best thing any wrestling promotion can do as far as WWE is concerned is leave everything up in the air, leave the fans guessing, and I think that's what they've done greatly going into the Royal Rumble is that I truly don't know who's going to walk out the WWE champion. I don't know who's going to be standing tall at the end of the Rumble match. And I don't know if Rollins is going to cash in, if Sting's going to get involved, if the Authority is going to get involved. Just so many different components going into the Royal Rumble.
Which is a big thing that has hurt WWE is the opposite of that. There's been, especially last year, there were so many pay-per-views that were almost cookie cutter.
Yep.
I mean, especially...
When you think of it as well with the WWE Championship match, it's got a triple threat advantage, so it means the Authority can get involved on behalf of Seth Rollins.
Can get involved. Brock Lesnar doesn't need to be involved in the decision as they tried to ram down our throats. But it's going to be interesting because there's another component here that I've mentioned to Wayne, and I want to get your thoughts about it, Aaron, really quick, even though, like I said, even though we're going to talk about the Rumble later. And that's the possibility of Paul Heyman turning on Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I've kind of brought that up a couple times on Wrestling's Rope Break and even, in some of my articles on ProWrestlingPowerhouse.com where, I kind of have set that landscape. I even mentioned it in our predictions column that's going to be coming out on Saturday. I think it's very possible, and I think they've left that door open. I don't think that that's what they want to do. I think it's just something that they've left open. If they decide to go down that route, they have an excuse or a reason to go down that route. They left that door open on SmackDown with the promo with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, which I thought Rollins and Heyman were great a couple weeks back. I don't know. I don't know if, and I'm going to keep plugging myself because no one else is going to do it. I wrote a whole piece on Brock Lesnar possibly turning babyface a couple weeks ago, and in this past Monday, it kind of came true. I mean, he's going to be kind of a tweener right now. It looks like, and a lot of people are going to be cheering him, and that's the way that it looks like they're going to go. And I think that it's very possible if a possible heel turn from or a possible turn on Brock Lesnar by Paul Heyman.
It's just all these dimensions of possibilities which just make this pay-per-view just even more, I don't want to say it can't miss, but I mean it's damn near close to it.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing as well, I don't know if the two of you have seen this, Paul Heyman's interview with Rolling Stone.
Yeah, they talked, I think you guys talked about that on Wrestling's Rope Break last night, didn't you?
Oh, we did. I don't think so, no.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, I heard a Paul Heyman interview in there. I had a buddy over, so I was kind of hearing snippets of it. But go ahead, Wayne.
And when he was asked about Paul Heyman said that Seth Rollins is actually the best in-ring performer in the WWE right now. You don't know if that's kayfabing or not kayfabing.
Yeah, I still don't think he's as good as Randy Orton yet, but that's just me. I still think Randy Orton's probably one of the best all-around athletes WWE has outside of NXT. But let's get into it, guys. I mean, Raw was a reunion show, and first off, let's just talk about that for a second, the reunion aspect of it. How do you feel they treated the reunion aspect of it with the legends coming back? Do you think they did it right? I mean, personally to me, the idea of the panel, I mean, it's been almost overused by them. Like these legend panels don't really bring that much, at least in my opinion. Wayne, we'll go with you first. How did you feel about the Raw reunion this past week?
I loved all the guys being back in the show, but I agree with you with the panel. It's too outdated. It's just literally it's filler for time. That's all it's becoming. And
I mean, do they have to use the same? And Aaron, I want to get your thoughts too. Do they have to use the same guys every 3 or 4 times they've done it now? I mean, they got Ted DiBiase and Bret Hart and all these other guys that are under Legends contracts with them. Aaron, what did you think about it?
Usually I would say that WWE likes to use their legends as just a way to sell pay-per-views. It seems like these reunions or these homecomings, old school Raws, always happen before a pay-per-view. Usually a big one like with the Royal Rumble. And it seems like it's always a way to kind of generate, more buzz or more buys for their pay-per-views. This time I thought that they kind of took a back seat to that stuff, and they let the Rumble match itself and the main event, the triple threat match, kind of take the spotlight instead of, keeping the spotlight on the legends themselves. I thought they worked the legends into the storyline a little bit. I like that, one of them actually got, Ric Flair actually got physical. That was great. And I always pop for a nice Ric Flair chop and him hitting the ropes and all that stuff. So I always like Ric Flair. I always like seeing him kind of mix it up with somebody. So I enjoyed that. I love the NWO stuff backstage at that segment with Mizdow. I thought there was a lot of good stuff that they did, and I like that they didn't have the legends kind of overshadow the entire show. And I like that they kind of kept the focus on the Rumble itself.
Now, do you guys feel like that? Arguably the biggest segment of the night was the NWO, the APA, and the New Age Outlaw little reunion segment there, if you'd even call it that. Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel like that they just absolutely destroyed the Ascension like I do? Because yeah, you can make the argument that they got some kind of rub being in there with all these legendary tag teams and everything, but they got criticized and then they got beat down and made to look like complete fools. At least in my opinion. Aaron, what did you think about that?
I see what you mean, and it, even after I saw it, I was a little bit disappointed because if you don't listen to Wrestling's Rope Break, I'm a big Ascension guy. Joel, not so much. Joel thinks they're, average as it gets. I kind of believe that they're kind of I like their old school kind of feel. They kind of remind me of the Road Warriors and Demolition, and that's kind of one of the reasons why WWE's kind of taken that storyline on. And I think, I think they're going to get theirs at the Royal Rumble. I think they're going to, shine at the Royal Rumble against the New Age Outlaws. I think it should be a quick match. That's the only way they can kind of salvage what happened on Raw, is if the Ascension kind of go out there and beat down New Age Outlaws quickly and definitively. But overall, I didn't think it really hurt them that much. They're already getting kind of buried by JBL on a week-to-week basis on commentary as it is. So I don't think it really affected them too much because they're already kind of slowly going downhill, and there's all these rumors that Vince is not too hot, doesn't really like them too much, and that they're kind of more Triple H's pet project. But I don't know. I just hope they kind of get their opportunity to kind of shine at the Royal Rumble against the New Age Outlaws.
What do you think about, or what did you think about it, Wayne? Are you in agreement with us, or did you kind of?
I think they literally gave the Ascension a chance to shine, and the fact of that is, they've put them in there with the NWO, the APA, New Age Outlaws. This is a tag team that are actually saying they can beat all those three. This Sunday they have the New Age Outlaws. Let's put them to the test.
My thing, and Aaron just mentioned it, was about JBL attacking them on commentary. Is a friend of, or I guess we call him the analyst now, Matt Brees. His idea, and I agree with him, is that it could possibly be building up to an APA Ascension match at WrestleMania. Would that be a match you guys would want to see? Personally, I'm all for it, because I'm going to WrestleMania, and I'd love to see the APA one more time, but...
I'm not really so sure. I think... I don't know how much Ron Simmons can really do in that match, and I think JBL would have to want to work a match like that. I think he'd have to kind of take on that role for the APA, because I don't think Ron Simmons can really do too much. As you saw, he didn't really get involved in the physical aspect of that segment.
Yeah, I could have done without him wearing the sweatpants. If he could have just thrown the jeans, he would have looked a little bit younger.
Yeah, and he hasn't really kept himself in too great of a shape, but he is a little older than JBL. So I think, I don't know how much that would work, and if they decide to do it, I could see them doing it. Maybe have Ron go in there for a couple minutes, him tagging JBL, and then they can finish it up that way. Who knows? But I wouldn't be opposed to that completely. I wouldn't mind seeing the APA lock horns one more time with somebody like the Ascension.
Mr. Daly?
I'm the same opinion as Eron. I literally can't see Ron Simmons working too much in the match. And if anything, I think JBL's probably going to hit the clothesline from hell, tag in Ron, and he'll hit the Dominator.
Yeah.
I mean, it would. I mean, even if it's only like a 5 minute, 5, 6, 7 minute. I'd like to think JBL could handle 5, 6 minutes in that.
And I'm sure if they told Ron Simmons that they're doing a match, I'm sure he'll train and get in a little better shape for the match itself.
I think so. I mean, and I mentioned that because if you really want to build the Ascension, if Taker could do it, and I just want to get you guys' opinion on this really quick. I know we're getting a little off topic, but they're being buried, this, that, and the other thing. They beat the New Age Outlaws at the Royal Rumble. WrestleMania say they beat the APA. SummerSlam, they're going to be in New York and New Jersey. They're going to want a good match, to try to fill up wherever they go. What about if they could somehow get the Ascension versus the Brothers of Destruction? And have the Ascension defeat the Brothers of Destruction, and then you want to fill up Cowboy Stadium, the Ascension versus D-Generation X at WrestleMania 32, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
That's if they keep it going that long.
If they can keep
that's
it
what I was
going
going to say.
Yeah. But, and then, I mean, to me, Shawn Michaels being a native Texan, coming out of retirement for DX, against the Ascension, I don't know. To me, that would be a good drawing match. How do you guys feel about that?
Wayne, you can go ahead first.
I can't see Michaels coming out of retirement. That's a personal opinion. If anything, I think they're going to use The Undertaker and Stone Cold at WrestleMania 32 to be the big draws.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just a little too much fantasy booking for me personally. I don't know if Michaels would come out of retirement. I don't know if Taker and Kane versus the Ascension kind of work. I don't know. And like you said, Wayne, it kind of, I don't know if they want to keep that storyline going for that long of them kind of taking down legendary tag teams. I think the eventual storyline is that the Ascension will eventually face the Usos at WrestleMania and win the tag titles. I think that's kind of I would assume the plan for them. Going into Mania for the Ascension.
Yeah, I guess it was a little fantasy booking. I mean, you could even try maybe redoing the same storyline they tried 10 years ago with them claiming they're better than the Road Warriors, and Animal comes back and gets, I wouldn't say Heidenreich because he was god-awful in the role, but maybe recruit somebody to become another Road Warrior and they go after the Ascension or something, somebody from NXT maybe.
That wouldn't be too bad.
Hayden Neville.
But how did you guys feel about the ending of Raw? With the the vigilante Sting making his presence felt again, yet again, foiling the plans of the Authority or allowing John Cena to pick up the victory over Seth Rollins, which to me, it was kind of the most heelish Cena's been in quite a while. Cena gets a roll-up victory and then books it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't very triumphant like the Cena character normally likes to stand tall, victorious, strong, powerful. Nah, he booked it like a little bitch, at least in my opinion. Eric, what did you think?
Who'd you ask?
You.
Oh, okay. One of the funniest things I saw after that win was it was something. I think it was a meme saying when the fans realized that one of their favorite moments of Raw was a John Cena victory. That kind of made me chuckle. That everyone's favorite moment was a John Cena victory at the end. One of the funniest parts about that segment in general was where he hugged that kid in the first row. I mean, I kind of smiled at that because I could just imagine having your favorite wrestler, your front row favorite wrestler, and your favorite wrestler hugs you. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. But overall, I thought the segment itself was just so much going on that I kind of couldn't comprehend what was happening. They were hitting us with so many things at once. I thought that was really cool, and they never do that. Never. I can't remember the last time they ended a Raw with that much, heat and red hot, fire, and just it was so many different things going on with Lesnar, Sting, and I thought it was just great. Some people were nitpicking about Sting being backstage and that kind of taking away from his allure or the mystique of what they're trying to build for him. I don't know. I think that's just a little bit too much nitpicking. I thought the Lesnar thing was cool. It'd be him being able to F5 a 350-pound guy and then a 450-pound guy right after. I thought that was, just an amazing feat of strength, and it made Lesnar look strong going into the Rumble. So, I don't know. Overall, I thought that segment was great.
And Mr. Daly, your thoughts?
I absolutely enjoyed that segment from start to finish, but I've one gripe, and that was the fact when Sting came out. The only thing I didn't like is when he appeared on Titantron, came out onto the stage, pointed, and was gone. I'd actually like something else, like if he got involved with Triple H, or if he got involved with anyone that was at ringside.
But I think they might be saving that. Don't you think?
Well, if the reports are true that he only had 6 appearances,
yeah.
So he's
that's
used
too
up
old
2
of
of
them.
So he's got arguably 3 left. Because one of them will be WrestleMania.
Yeah, but as I remember, that contract was that they can add more if they want to, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not set in stone.
So when you're thinking of the 3 that are left, it surely has to be the Rumble, Fastlane, and probably the Raw before WrestleMania.
If it's just 3, you can make that argument. I mean, ideally, I'd like to see him, the last 2 to 3 Raws before WrestleMania, really try to build it up.
The only thing with me is I don't know how much you can do with them. There's only so many promos you can cut with Hunter and Sting, going back and forth. But I do see your point. I hope they kind of build this up as a big-time dream match, and that, it's 2, legends of each company going, at each other. Of course, I think they'd rather have this be Taker than Triple H, but, I think... Sting needs to kind of stay off TV. I think he's going to be off TV for another couple weeks. I don't think he appears at the Rumble. I think he stays off TV for a couple weeks, and then he just appears again when the Authority are trying to do something. And I like that I like that he kind of didn't stay too long on Raw. I like that it was short, because they're kind of teasing you constantly about it. They're making you kind of buy in and slowly, inching you along, and then they're going to give it to you when they're ready. And I think that's one of the things that I kind of liked about how short his segment was on Raw.
Yeah, and I don't know, to me, actually, before I even get to that thought, Aaron, and I've asked Wayne this already, what did you feel about the first ever TNA appearance on WWE programming?
Yeah. I think that says a lot to Destination America. I think that says a lot to Discovery Channel, of course, the kind of the host for Destination America. I think that says a lot to TNA and what they're trying to do, at least. Because, as everyone knows, Spike TV wasn't really too supportive of TNA. Even with WWE, they were never too supportive of wrestling in general. So I think that says a lot about Destination America and how much they really want to push TNA as a new kind of a new wrestling alternative. And I think that's really smart to have advertisements during probably the biggest show, biggest wrestling show in the world, is Monday Night Raw. So
wait, you had an advertisement for it?
I saw an ad during Raw.
Oh,
I didn't think you ran about the advertisement.
I didn't know there was one either. I was just talking about Sting wearing his TNA gloves.
Oh, no. Everyone was talking about a TNA advertisement during Raw.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's smart. They're already smarter than Spike TV was. Wow, I kind of feel... My bad. And Wayne's
at least in Connecticut. I don't know everywhere else, but I know in Connecticut there was a spot for it.
Wayne's silent right now because he was caught off guard with that. But all this talk for WrestleMania, that's going to be a conversation for another day, but there is something that happens around WrestleMania, and that's the Hall of Fame that I want to get into really quick because we haven't been on the air since this was announced either, and that's the induction of the Macho Man Go ahead, Wayne.
Oh, yeah, the Macho Man's going into the Royal Rumble. Dig it.
You mean into the Hall of Fame?
Into the Hall of Fame.
I'm glad you did that because I need my voice for this interview in about a half an hour. Which, by the way, we have TNA Superstar Gunner going to be with us in about a half an hour's time. But a little shameless shilling there. Yeah, Macho Man finally inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm ecstatic for it. Also, selfishly, because I'm going to be at the Hall of Fame, so I'm curious to see. I mean, Hogan's inducting him, not Lanny Poffo. Okay.
I think Lanny will accept it, though.
I hope so. 'Cause I'm looking forward to a good speech from Lanny. Hogan's is going to be, well, you know something, brother. The Macho Man.
The Macho Man had a great match at WrestleMania 5, brother.
Yeah, little ass kissing from Hogan because he was a complete douchebag to Macho Man. And then, but no, I'm really hoping Lanny Poffo's there because that's gonna be the speech I'm gonna be wanting to listen to, and look forward to being able to give you guys feedback. Because as Joel mentioned last night on Wrestling's Rope Break, we are going to be providing as much live coverage as feasibly possible from San Jose, California. From WrestleMania, we're gonna be at Access. We're gonna be at the Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, the Raw after. Am I missing anything that he said he was going to do?
I think he said he wanted to do a bunch of interviews from like the ROH shows that are going to be going on,
I'm game.
All that stuff.
So you guys are gonna have a lot of content coming. The last week
is he doing WrestleCon?
Yes.
So he's probably going to get the rest of the... Is it Evolve and Dragon Gate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel left out. But nonetheless, you guys are going to be having content out the ass. That's as I will try to cover it up. You guys are gonna have so much content. We're gonna try to get as many interviews, as many shows as possible. I don't know how we're gonna do, if we're gonna be able to do a show on WrestleMania Sunday. I know last year we did a big what was it, like a 3-hour, 4-hour show we did last year.
I think it was 3 hours. Me, you, and was it Taj?
Me,
and
you, Taj. Al was there, wasn't he?
I think so.
Oh, we had me, you, Taj, Al. I think James was on there with us. Timothy Givens was on with us. That's a little name drop for those of you who were around or listening to us in our Wrestling 365 days. I think we even had Dunphy on with us. Anyway, how did you guys feel? I mean, it was kind of spoiled a little bit before Raw went on the air. TMZ kind of had it. What was it, even like a day before, wasn't it?
That morning.
That morning. And then WWE hyping the announcement of Macho Man being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Aaron, how did you feel seeing that Macho Man was finally getting enshrined, getting his rightful place along the immortals of WWE's past?
One thing I really found hilarious is that they were hyping up that he was expected to be inducted. Like they didn't. One, they're acting like they didn't know, and like that, like Vince McMahon was like secretly sitting backstage and like pondering if he should be inducted or not. It's just, I don't know. I thought that was just corny and weird. But overall, how can you not want Randy Savage in the Hall of Fame? It's long overdue. And of course, if I'm on this show, I have to kind of praise my guy Triple H. I think it has a lot to do with him kind of taking a little bit of initiative backstage. Since he's been kind of in power, I guess he's gotten Bruno Sammartino, Warrior, and now it seems like Bob Backlund. Now he's got it seems like he's helped in the Randy Savage situation. So I think that speaks to him. I think it speaks to Vince McMahon maybe finally understanding that he should be in this Hall of Fame and that it's necessary. I mean, it's Macho Man Randy Savage. So I'm excited for it, and I'm kind of jealous of you and Joel. You're going to be able to see him get inducted live. So.
And Mr. Wayne Daly, how did you feel when you finally saw that Macho Man was being inducted?
It's the exact same thing as Ric Flair said. It's long overdue.
Absolutely.
Long overdue.
But let's switch gears here a little bit from pro wrestling. We got about a half an hour before Gunner is going to be on with us. All right. And I know, Aaron, I saw you posted, you were talking about, I believe, I'm sorry, I don't remember which website it was on, or was it a Facebook post? About
my own personal website.
Okay. Yeah. And that would be Deflate-gate. I know Wayne's... Oh, you don't... Okay. He's calling me out. Alright, so before we get to Deflate-gate... Sorry, guys, a little rattled. So, let me ask you guys, and I don't even know if this is the case or not. We're going to switch back, and then we'll go back to Deflate-gate in a little bit. Is Miss Elizabeth a Hall of Famer?
I don't...
No, she's not.
No, I don't think so.
Could you guys see her getting inducted this year as well?
If they want to put her and Savage in, I think they'd announce it, but I don't think she's going to go in.
Do you guys consider her to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I would assume. I mean, she's become kind of a almost a staple in wrestling. They kind of go hand in hand, but Macho Man goes with Miss Elizabeth, and same thing with Sensational Sherry. Kind of they go hand in hand. So I think she should absolutely be in there. If Pete Rose is in there, she should be in there.
That's true.
Come on.
I mean, if Coco Beware's in there, she should be in there.
Yeah.
I mean, Coco Beware being in there is like Kofi Kingston should be in the Hall of Fame. But who else could you guys see getting inducted this year? I know Kevin Nash was rumored prior to the whole thing where he whooped his kid's ass in defense of his wife.
Still ended up on Raw, though.
Yeah, that did. Who could you guys see, if Kevin Nash does get inducted, besides Kevin Nash and Macho Man, who do you think could be inducted this year?
I've heard Nash, like you said. I know they wanted to do DX last year, but that never went through. They wanted to do the MWO last year, that didn't go through. So it's really kind of up in the air, and I haven't heard any other names besides those right there.
Could we see Paul Heyman?
Too early.
Not this year. Not this year, personally.
What about The Undertaker?
Once again, not this year, personally.
Yeah.
I think if they're going to look for names, I think Macho Man's probably going to be the headliner.
Yeah.
And then anyone below that then is going to be thrown in. Like there was talk of Ray Stevens being inducted.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think who else.
I'm thinking for Divas, I could actually see him inducting Sable. Just to please Brock Lesnar.
Is she worthy, in your opinions?
She's a Divas wrestler. She helped establish connections in the past.
Well, this is the thing. If we're going around the criteria of WWE's standards of Hall of Fame, then absolutely yes. But if I was creating my own Hall of Fame and allowing people in, I don't think so. No.
Trying to think. Who isn't a Hall of Famer? Isn't Lou Thez isn't a Hall of Famer, is he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is. I believe so.
So I thought there was somebody from like Lou Thesz's generation that wasn't a WWE Hall of Famer.
That's going to rot in my brain. Actually, Lutez is not in WWE Hall of
No,
Fame.
yeah, I just saw that too. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking really
I was
quick
actually
to see
fully
who's
convinced
not
that he's
in.
actually a Hall of Famer.
Could we see The Rock get inducted this year?
Mm.
Or would
Definitely
they
not
save
this year.
that for...
I think he still has one more match left in him. I think they want him for one more match, maybe at 32.
I think they might induct The Rock if they go back to like the West Coast. Yes, it could have been done this year, but I think if they go back to the West Coast in the next 4 or 5 years, it'll probably happen. Either that or else unless they go to Miami.
I think there's a big one that, I wonder if you guys think he would be inducted this year. Owen Hart.
I can't see that happening with one posthumous induction already going through.
Yeah, not this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Personally, and I know one of the two are dead, but I'd actually like to see the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid and British Bulldog, David Boy Smith going in. There's two names that are not in, and like this is a cheap plug, but there's guys in the UK at Team DBS, and they've been pushing since like 2012 for the WWE to induct David Boy Smith.
What about Demolition?
They're the two names that deserve to be in.
I mean, with the way that they keep, trying to compare the Ascension to them, maybe that's their way for trying to get people familiar with them again to try to induct them in this year.
Personally, if I had to pick 3 people this year to go in, it'd probably be Kevin Nash, Vader, and the British Bulldogs.
Could this be a smaller class than we've had lately?
I think it actually will be.
I think they need to start doing smaller Hall of Fame classes. And Aaron, I want to get your thoughts on that also, because, I mean, they're running out of people. I mean, if this year shows you anything, they're kind of running out of people.
Yeah, I would actually prefer it to be like 4 people. I like 2013, or was it what was it? Yeah, 2013, where you had Foley, Booker. It was almost too much. You had Bruno. It was just like it was just too many names. I felt like they could have saved Foley for a different class, because I think he deserved to be a headliner. I kind of was. I remember I was very upset that he kind of kicked off the show. I think he was like the first one to go, and I thought that was ridiculous. And even Booker, I think Booker maybe could have gotten a better spot than he did too. So I think they kind of got to slow down and maybe do something like maybe four inductees a year, something like that.
Wayne, what do you think?
I prefer when there's more on the card, but I do agree that literally they need to slow down with like having like Booker T and, as Aaron said, Booker T and Bruno in the same year, is it?
Booker T could have been saved for next year too.
Yeah.
Especially now that
they're
going to be in
if they done
Dallas.
it, let's say just if they done it this year, and let's say they announced Macho Man, Vader, Kevin Nash, DDP, and let's say Sable.
DDP's another one, yeah.
That's 5 names. Well, 4 or 5 names. You might as well say take it. That you could actually have headlining the class, or at least co-headlining. And then you're looking next year going, oh, who we're going to have next?
I think next year, I think the biggest one's going to be Sting, since they're in Texas. Sting and or The Undertaker.
I don't think they do both.
I think it'll probably be Sting and probably someone just below him, like someone like Psycho Sid or...
Did they induct the Von Erichs in 25?
Yeah, the whole Von Erich family.
No, I thought that was the 25 one. Okay. Hey, they could induct Braden Walker. But, let's see. All right, let's go back to what we were going to talk about. That's Deflate-gate. For those of you who don't know, the Patriots were accused of deflating balls that were used in last Sunday's AFC Championship game. And the NFL did... And the NFL did an investigation and determined that 11 of the 12 game-used balls were deflated by, what was it, by almost 2%, right, Aaron?
to PSI. It was the rules regulate for it to be 12.5 to 13.5 or something,
Okay.
and 10 point something and 11 point something.
Which, when you don't have the right amount of pressure in something that you have to have inflated, it causes some issues, to say the least. But so, how do you guys feel about this whole situation? Do you think that there should be some sort of punishment for the Patriots?
Who are you asking?
You.
Um,
Wayne's not partaking too much. He's kind
I'm
of
still a bit
boycotting. He's boycotting the NFL right now.
okay. I think this story's just been incredibly blown out of proportion, like to the point where it's almost ridiculous. I mean, you had yesterday reporters, people that have graduated from college with journalism degrees and world class reporters asking about deflated balls. Are you like, what is that? I don't understand. I mean, I understand they cheated. I understand that they have a record of kind of cheating with the Spygate and all that stuff. I understand. Maybe I shouldn't be talking because I'm a Patriots fan and I kind of, sympathize, I guess. But as far as Belichick is concerned, I felt like he came across genuine. I felt like he kind of, for the first time in a long time, Belichick kind of came across as kind of opened up a little bit. But Brady kind of was the one that I felt kind of, if anything, made the Patriots take a step back in as far as image is concerned. Because I think after the Belichick press conference, everyone was kind of, oh, okay, well, everyone was maybe not sympathy. Sympathy is kind of the wrong word, but understanding a little more and kind of, okay, maybe they didn't do it. After Brady's press conference, everybody just flipped right back. Everyone was like, oh, they did it, they conspired. So I think Brady kind of hurt their cause a little bit because he came across to me as a little maybe not arrogant, but maybe too good for the press conference itself. Like, who are you guys to ask me if I deflate footballs? Like, who are you guys to say this about me? So I think it's been way blown out of proportion. I think people are setting the Patriots as guilty before they're even proven innocent, and that's kind of what my column was all about, is, not defending the Patriots, but kind of defending people in society in general as far as sports is concerned, is we've got to make sure they're guilty before we condemn them as guilty. Make sure they are actually guilty and prove that they are, not just because we think and they have a track record, you just condemn them instantly. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? That was my biggest thing. And I think and once again, I think it's blown out way out of proportion. It's taken away from the Super Bowl in general, because this is supposed to be one of the best couple weeks leading into the Super Bowl, and now we're sitting here talking about deflated footballs.
I mean, for me, it's kind of, it's almost like the boy who cried wolf for the Patriots. Oh, we didn't do it. Oh, we didn't do it. Well, with all these controversies and everything that have shown up, I mean, how are we supposed to take you guys seriously about it? I myself am a Jets fan, so I don't really have any sympathy for the Patriots, considering they decided to videotape us when we were at our worst at that. But yeah, I do kind of agree with you, though. I mean, it's America, ultimately innocent until proven guilty. If they are found to have done it with obviously malicious intent to try to help themselves out, but if they are found that they're guilty of tampering with the balls and guilty of Wayne's just laughing his ass off at this, and guilty of cheating, I say for the next couple of years they don't get a draft pick. If you want to,
but let's just think about that sentence you just said, though. We're talking about deflated footballs, like how crazy is this that we're sitting
performance?
It's insane that we're and that's why I've slowly become a little bit sick of sports in general, is because when we get to this point where there's nothing else to talk about, we take something and we blow it so insanely out of proportion that it's become like this. I mean, you could see even during the press conferences, there were people from CNN there and ABC News, and this is some big national story, and it's just ridiculous. And plus, another thing, the deflated footballs didn't help the Patriots score 45 points on the Colts, okay? Like, there's no... The deflated footballs didn't help the Patriots destroy the Colts in any way. And plus, the new media report was that they used... For the second half, they used properly inflated footballs. They used all inflated footballs for the second half.
The one football that wasn't deflated?
No. For the first half, 11 of the 12s were deflated, apparently. And for the second half, they rotated in backup footballs where they were properly inflated. So, and plus, in that second half, Tom Brady went 9 for 9 with a properly inflated football. So this whole notion that like Brady's been doing this forever and that he can't play with a regular sized football is insane to me. I mean, and I just hate this whole thing. I really do. I just hate it so much.
I don't want to imply that he can't play without a deflated football, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't think he could be as successful without cheating. I mean, it's almost getting to the point that you got to wonder. These are the things that they're getting caught with. Is there something that they're doing that they're not getting caught with?
But then again, they can't be the only team. I mean, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming you'd have to think there's at least maybe a third of the other NFL teams that do something like this. And it's not like the Patriots are the only ones that have done something like this. You have the Saints with Bounty-gate. You have, I mean, it's just, the
only ones that get
every
caught.
teams have skeletons. Every team has a skeleton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure other teams cheat. Like I said, they're the only ones who got caught.
Yeah, just like the Seattle Seahawks robbed us of going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm still bitter.
You get one word for that, sir.
Chuck. Yeah, I know.
Damn! And not for nothing, the Patriots get a damn for that performance. Or Patriots, I'm sorry, the Packers. I could sit here and evenly critique everybody, mainly because, A, my team will never get to the playoffs in the foreseeable future because we suck so much. And B, I gotta mess with Wayne because of all the bragging he did all year. Oh, this is our year, this is our year, this is our year. And where
it was looking that way until, like, the Seahawks decided to go, oh, it's fourth quarter, let's turn up.
Turn up for what? Hey, but you know what, though? And I've had some people in my work come in and, oh, the Packers did this, the Cowboys did that, yeah. You know what? And I applaud you, Wayne, for not being that bitter that you sit there and you're whining about it, which you're not. You're just making little comments, half in joking, because you were even laughing about it. But I get people coming in, oh, the Jets suck. They don't even go to the playoffs. Well, you guys are in the same boat we are. Oh, but we did. It doesn't matter. You guys are losers, just like we are. And you're sitting home at the Super Bowl, just like we are. But you know what? For me, yes, the Super Bowl is in, 12 days? It's baseball season. Aaron, tell me you're not a Red Sox fan.
I'm not, no.
Yankee fan?
Whenever I say that to people, they're like, oh, how are you a Yankees fan but a Patriots fan? Well, my family was diehard Yankees. We don't really my family doesn't have a football team. They don't really follow football as closely as I do. So I was kind of able to kind of venture out myself and pick a team myself. And, of course, when I was growing up, Patriots were winning Super Bowls, so, of course, when I was growing up, that was the team I followed. So, yeah, diehard Yankees fan, family-bred Yankee fan, so.
Wayne, I knew there was something I liked about this kid. I knew there was something I liked about him. I mean, the Packers, or the Patriots thing, we can try to work on that with him. But, a smart kid being a Yankee fan, which, speaking of, we are what? Like, not even 3 weeks away from spring training, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. I don't think we're that much better than last season as far as like talent wise, but I do like the pickup of Andrew Miller. I think I think getting Aroyd back is somewhat of a benefit, I guess. I didn't like the pickup of Headley, signing him to that big deal, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, Headley was an insurance policy. I mean, ultimately, that's what that one was. I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I'm not rooting for A-Rod to try to prove us wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd love it nothing more. He comes guns a-blazing out the gates, hitting, 400 with 10 RBIs in April and May. Well, maybe not April, May, but going into May, he has almost 10 home runs. I mean, that's A-Rod circa 2005, not 2015. But
Yeah,
I just
I
like
think
to
that's
see him
just
prove.
wishful thinking, though.
It is, and I mean, the better he does, the better it's only going to make us. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the only thing that I'm just trying to focus on.
Well, apparently he's been training with Barry Bonds.
Sorry.
So I mean,
Is he
that should help.
training with the syringes? I mean,
Yeah.
all right, guys, this is Main Event Madness. We are live. It is January 23rd, 2015. We are 2 days away from the Royal Rumble event. Excuse me. We are live. Al is not with us this week. We have Wayne Daly of Wrestling-News.net, Eron Ramadanov of Wrestling's Rope Break, CoolWrestlingNews.com, if I got that one right,
Mm-hmm.
and Pro Wrestling Powerhouse. I believe you're the editor over there, if I'm not correct.
I am indeed.
And of course, you can check his new give his new Facebook page a like. What is it? The ER Report?
Yep.
Is it? Check him out. He's got sorry, bad timing for a stretch. So tell us about that really quick. You got a couple minutes here before we go into a commercial break.
I mean, I guess if you like me if you like my thoughts on wrestling and sports, you can catch all my stuff there. It's kind of a home base for all the things I do as far as Wrestling's Rope Break and my writing at PWP and everything like that. You can go to er-report.weebly. Weebly is spelled WEEBLY.com, and that's all the stuff I have over there.
There you go. Definitely going to check that out, man. And you guys can check out Wrestling's Rope Break every Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock a.m. in the UK and Ireland, where Mr. Daly's living. I believe he fell asleep right now, or he's in deep post-mortem depression, as I was messing with one of my coworkers who's a diehard Packers fan as well. We got to liven him up, Aaron. He's in post-mortem depression right now. But anyway, we are live. It's Main Event Madness. Huge second half of this show coming up. We got thoughts, predictions on the Royal Rumble still to come. We've got, it's been a couple weeks since this came out, but I want to touch on it a little bit. We got the possibility of WWE bringing back the brand split, and if Aaron's with us then, I don't know. I don't think he's a big proponent of it. If you guys heard it or listened to last night's Wrestling's Rope Break. And of course, we're going to speculate a little bit on TNA's Feast or Fired. The briefcase is to be revealed tonight on Impact Wrestling, which you guys can check out on Destination America. And Eric Bischoff's biggest regret for the Monday Night Wars. I'm sure you guys know what it is. Mr. Daly and Mr. Ramadanov, but do the listeners know what Bischoff's biggest regret was? We're going to touch on that in the second hour as well. And going back to the brand split a little bit, Daniel Bryan wants to be the face of SmackDown. How do we feel about that one? And of course, above all of that, we have, in about 5 minutes from now, TNA superstar Gunner is going to be joining us live here on Main Event Madness. Going to be an awesome interview. Wayne and I are going to be hitting him up with some kick-ass questions. Aaron, are you going to be sticking around for that, sir?
I unfortunately cannot.
Okay. But you guys are definitely going to want to stick around for that. Aaron, we're going to be heading into a commercial break, sir, so thank you for joining us. It was an awesome hour having you on here. Guys, check out Wrestling's Rope Break every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, maineventmadness.com and Spreaker.com/show/Wrestling's Rope Break.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Aaron, and don't forget to check them out next week, guys. All right, so before I keep rambling on here, we're going to go into a commercial break here, guys. When we get back, we're going to have, as I said, TNA Star Gunner. Stick around. It's going to be an awesome time. It's Main Event Madness. So you're cruising around the internet looking for some entertainment. What if I told you there's a hard-hitting, fresh, and opinionated podcast out there covering everything from WWE and TNA to the NFL, the NBA, and MLB? Well, that's reality. Main Event Madness is here. Don't miss us every week on MainEventMadness.com as well as on TuneIn Radio and Stitcher.com. Main Event Madness, our wrestling, your sports, simply madness. From the associate producer of The Wrestler, Evan Ginsberg, comes Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV, co-hosted by Steve Ludwig, featuring legends in sports, pro wrestling, and the arts. Lanny the Genius Poffo, Nicole Bass, Oscar from Men on a Mission, and million-selling music hitmakers like Martha Wash of the Weather Girls and Carol Douglas of Doctor's Orders fame appear regularly, as well as the greatest live indie musicians performing live in studio. Saturdays, 11 a.m. at legendstvnyc.com and madhousetv.com, archived 24/7. You missed the birth of your mother and father, don't you dare miss Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV. Looking for more than your average wrestling website? Looking for the fastest growing wrestling news site on the internet today? With quality news, results, and more. Wrestling News Report has everything you'd want in a wrestling website. Al Merriman has you covered with the latest and biggest stories of the day from all around the world of pro wrestling. Check them out today, WrestlingNewsReport.com. Hey you. Yeah, you. Looking for quality wrestling news with an international flair? Looking for results and news from around the world? Look no further than Wrestling-News.net. Wayne Daly and his crew have you covered from top to bottom, from WWE to TNA to the top independent companies from around the world. Check them out, Wrestling-News.net. Need a break? How about a rope break? Wrestling's rope break, that is. Don't miss every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Wrestling's rope break. Joel O'Brien and Aaron Ramadanov give you a fresh and passionate insight on the latest happenings and news from the world of pro wrestling. It's Wrestling's rope break, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, MainEventMadness.com and Spreaker.com. Presented by Main Event Madness.
Opportunity. It comes in many forms. But once a year, it doesn't get any bigger.
It is now time for the Royal Rumble!
For the past 27 years, the Royal Rumble has been a proving ground, with 30 of WWE's best and brightest compete for a guaranteed WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. The objective of the match is simple: elimination. Easier said than done for the 782 entrants who've shared a similar fate.
Look at this! Are you kidding me?
Just remember, 2 feet must hit the floor.
What in the world? Trophy's still alive!
Eliminating superstars came natural for WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels, who still holds the all-time record for total eliminations at 39.
How does he do that?
One shy of the Heartbreak Kid's record is Kane. The corporate monster has 38 eliminations over 15 Royal Rumbles. And in 2001, Kane tossed out an impressive 11 competitors. But records are made to be broken. Just ask Roman Reigns.
What a showing by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns with 12 eliminations sets a new record for most eliminations in a Royal Rumble match.
Will Reigns make history again?
Believe that.
216,557 pounds, or over 108 tons, is the astronomical mass of humanity that has competed in the Royal Rumble match. Of those, 9 superstars won in their Rumble debut. 43 entrants are WWE Hall of Famers. And a total of 26 different nations have been represented. Don't forget, for the first time ever, the Royal Rumble will broadcast live on the WWE Network to over 170 countries. Plus, a remarkable 470,822 members of the WWE Universe have been in attendance.
Take a look, they're here in numbers.
To witness a number of unforgettable moments. including 3 record-setting Stone Cold victories.
Oh, hell yeah!
Historically, time is not always on your side in the Royal Rumble.
What? The battle better record! Hey, it didn't even last 2 seconds. About a second and a half. I wasn't ready!
However, in 2006, Rey Mysterio survived fierce competition to set the single Rumble record at 62 minutes, 12 seconds.
He did it! Rey Mysterio did it!
But the Rumble's all-time cumulative record is held by WWE COO Triple H, who has fought in the match for over 3 hours and 51 minutes.
That is best for business.
Remember, order of entry can make or break a superstar's probability for success. But since its inception, the number 1 entry has generated the same amount of winners as the coveted number 30.
I feel the pressure on my chest. Anticipation in the air.
It's a dream of every WWE superstar to headline WrestleMania. The question is, who will it be?
Only one man can emerge victorious. Will main event WrestleMania.
All right, guys, we are back. It is Main Event Madness Radio. It is January 23rd, 2015, hour number 2 of this very podcast. Eron has gone for the day. We are still here with Wayne Daly of Wrestling-News.net, and momentarily we are going to be joined by TNA Superstar Gunner. I mean, we had a kick-ass first half of the show, man, and it's just going to be blowing up here in the second half of this very broadcast. You can hear the excitement coming out of Wayne. He's just exuding excitement. You know, the silence is just mesmerizing how excited he is.
I'm really looking forward to it. Sorry. My mic was actually on mute. I didn't realize it.
And at this time, folks, we are going to be introducing, or at least going to try to bring on, TNA Star Gunner. Momentarily.
Joys of live radio.
Hello.
Hello, Gunner.
Yeah, man. How are you?
Good. How are you? It's Jack Curry, Main Event Madness. How you doing?
All right. I'm doing great, man. Just had a busy day so far. I got a couple auditions I've been trying to do, so.
Oh, good stuff.
But all good. Cannot complain, man.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy day, man, to join us here on Main Event Madness. We really appreciate it. We just got a few questions. We'll have you on here for maybe 20, 25 minutes, half hour or so, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, man. That's no problem at all. No problem.
All right, and now for those of you who don't know, we got TNA Superstar Gunner on the show with us. So yeah, let's jump right into this, man. You were an Army Ranger, right?
No, I was in the Marine Corps.
Marine Corps, yeah. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, I did 4 years in the Marine Corps, 2002 to 2006. I was a machine gunner. You know, I was on top of the truck, the ring mount with the 50 cal or whatever weapon I had, and I did my time. So
now let's talk about that for a second. Well, not so much the military part, but how did you get from being in the Marine Corps to becoming a professional wrestler?
Well, I actually, I started wrestling in 2001 after I got out of high school, and I went to Marine Corps in 2002. So I wrestled the whole time that I was in the military, unless I was deployed. I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and would travel, like 13 to 15-hour round trips, sometimes more every weekend to do, local independent shows in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, kind of all over. So it was something that I did while I was in the military.
And I think Wayne or my co-host for the day, Wayne Daly, he's from Wrestling-News.net, had a question or two he was going to
You've worked with the NWA, and some people might not know this, or some others might. You actually appeared with Ring of Honor as well. Was
yeah,
that
I gotta ask. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Was that a one-shot deal at the time, or did ROH have an interest in having you there long term?
Yeah, man. Like you said, I did a one-shot deal with Ring of Honor. It was right about the time when it was pretty close to the time when I got signed with TNA. I signed with TNA in April of 2010, and then I did the Ring of Honor show. I believe it was in March or April of 2010. So they were real happy. I know Adam Pearce at the time was on booking, the booking committee or whatever you want to call it there, and I think that we went out there and had a dark match. It was on one of their big pay-per-views. It seemed like they were interested, but one thing led to another, and I kind of signed my contract with Impact Wrestling. So I'm not sure what would happen, with Ring of Honor, but I definitely enjoy that company and that product a lot.
Now let's talk about that. You said you debuted with them in 2010. You were brought in as security for prior to the debut of the Immortal faction in 2010. Now, just want to touch on that for a second. What was the mindset like backstage with those that weren't involved in the faction? Were there any opinions kind of mirroring the public opinion that it was kind of a rehash of the NWO?
Yeah, I started with them when we did the security thing. Me and Murphy with Immortal. Backstage it was really cool. I know that certain individuals, and we all had kind of the belief of when TNA started, it was all about the younger talent. And I know I've talked to fans, and you get people's input here and there, but they really wanted to see TNA flourish and thrive on that young talent. Like you had AJ Styles, Chris Daniels, Frankie Kazarian. James Storm, Bobby Roode, all these guys that started in Impact were all the younger talent, and they helped build, the company to what it is now. And I think it was one of those things where kind of, the younger talent was maybe put back on the back burner a little bit, so to say. But now it's kind of picking back up a lot more. But I do think there was a little bit of animosity there. For me, I looked at it as an opportunity. I mean, I was getting a chance to work beside Hogan and Flair and all these guys. So for me, it was a learning opportunity.
Now, I got to ask you, because you mentioned Murphy. Whatever happened to Murphy? That was a question we had from a couple Twitter followers.
Yeah, no, I know they always ask me that. I actually still keep in touch. He wrestles in Independence now under Michael Judas, which is where we met back in 2007 at the NWA Anarchy in Georgia. And a good friend of mine, he owns his own fitness company and all this stuff. So he definitely had something great to fall back on. He went to school for all that stuff. But he is, for all the fans that want to know, Murphy is doing just fine. He's still wrestling independent scene and taking care of his business and his daughter. So,
well, there you go. Can't ask for much more than that for good news from him.
You mentioned that you got the chance to work alongside Hulk Hogan during the start of your career with TNA. Were things as hectic with Bischoff and Hogan as reported in the early days?
Say it again, man. I'm sorry. You guys broke up a little bit there.
I was saying that you got the chance to work with Hulk Hogan during the start of your TNA career, and were things as hectic with Hogan and Bischoff as reported? Yeah, no, and I got the chance to work with Hogan and Eric, and as far as like a knowledge aspect, like these are two guys, well, Hogan especially, a wrestler that I grew up watching as a kid and idolizing, and along with Ric Flair, kind of being in that mix. When it came to like the wrestling and the psychology and listening to the people, I always picked Hogan and Flair's brains because, man, you got to look at what they've done. I mean, their names speak for themselves, their careers do as well. So here's a young guy, I'm 32 now. I guess I was 28 or 29 at the time. I just found this as a learning opportunity that a lot of future guys aren't going to get. And when it comes to like, Eric taught me a lot about, the camera work and the crowd and just making the product look larger than life. Because you got to look at what he did with WCW and all that stuff. He was winning the Monday Night Wars there for a long time. So I took it as an opportunity because in my career, I want to be kind of an all-around guy where I know inside the ring and outside the ring and backstage and all that stuff. So there's, three guys I can learn a lot from.
Now, you had mentioned before that there were a bunch of younger guys that came up around the same time as you debuted in there and around the Immortal faction and all that. What was your initial reaction and the reaction to some of the guys in the locker room to TNA bringing in Bischoff's son Garrett into the fold during Immortal's run and even defeating you in his first TNA match? Was there any hostility due to his lack of experience, or was he experienced, or did the locker room welcome him with open arms, or?
There was absolutely no hostility as far as me and Garrett's relationship. We're still good friends. We still talk. There may have been, to be honest, like Impact, and I've done extra spots with WWE back in the past, and Impact's a family, man. Like we don't walk around on eggshells. Everybody gets along and wants to do what's better for the product. And when it comes to like me having to do the job for Garrett, like it was one of those things. It was the first year of my career, the first year of my contract. It was one of those things where, like I said, absolutely, I'll do it, or absolutely not, but I would have never had a job. You got to look at stuff that like Triple H did back in the day, and that's the Madison Square Garden deal where he jobbed out for a year or so and did the slop and did all this stuff that just kind of like humiliated him. Me, it's professional wrestling. I stay away from the politics. I go where the business is. We took what we could and tried to make the best out of it, and I felt like we did that, man. And like I said, we still get along. We still talk.
Well, that's awesome. Now, let's fast forward a year or two, and how was working with James Storm? Now, this stretch was arguably your most successful in Impact Wrestling, winning the tag team title with Storm, and even winning the Feast or Fire briefcase for the World Heavyweight title. What was it like working with a guy who at that time was kind of a seasoned veteran in TNA, and James Storm?
Yeah, no, you're right. It was definitely, I think, it is the career, I always say it is the career. It is the feud that elevated my career as a singles guy, and I owe that to my hard work, my determination, but also to James, because he went out there and night in and night out, we performed, we beat each other to death, literally, and, I do owe a lot. Team with him was really awesome. I've always enjoyed tag team wrestling, but when they say, hey, we're going to do a little deal with you guys, get a little aggravated at each other. You're going to win the Feast of Fire match, and James is going to get, kind of jealous, and then they brought my father involved. So I think there's a feud that Impact actually invested some time in and really got the fans emotionally involved, especially when they brought my father in and let me, kind of go with the military stuff. I mean, I did a promo last year in Scotland where you had Scottish fans chanting USA, for God's sake. So, I mean, that right there shows that they invested their time and their emotions into the feud. And what me and him did, I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't voted like Feud of the Year for some reason, but, I really believe that, James wanted to help elevate me because he's all about bettering the product, man. And if you got one more star along with him and the other guys, then it draws more people to the product.
Now, kind of step away from that for a second. A partner of our show, our sister show, the host of that, Joel O'Brien, wanted to ask a question. Who do you borrow from with your in the ring and with your character, and who influenced you in the wrestling world?
A lot of the times, a lot of the things I do, I kind of, wrestling is all about kind of, I don't want to say steal, but kind of like rehashing certain things. I'm a huge Macho Man fan. And so he's one of those guys I still watch and still study. To me, he was way ahead of his time. Just like his aggression, his promos, and even when he was a babyface, he never really changed his intent. So a lot of his stuff, and I tend, when I was growing up, I watched Triple H, which is one of my favorites. And, I always loved to watch him, sell, whether it be in a match or whether it be doing a promo and his reaction, because he always got people really invested. I can see their names all day, guys I really, really loved. But Macho Man is one that I still really enjoy, and love to watch and learn from.
Now, fast forwarding a little bit from that, which I'm a big Triple H fan myself, so I'm glad we had a little bit in common. I'm a little young to have watched Macho Man, but
yeah.
Now, TNA's Feast or Fire airs tonight on Destination America. They reveal what was in the briefcases. And you were one of the participants in the match. Being a former winner of the World Heavyweight title briefcase, do you believe this gives you an advantage or in such unpredictable match outcome when you were involved in the match? I'm sorry.
Say that again. I'm sorry, man.
I said TNA's Feast or Fire airs tonight on Destination America. They're revealing what was in the cases.
Yes.
You were one of the participants in the match. Being a former winner of the World Heavyweight title briefcase, did you believe that gave you an advantage in such an unpredictable match outcome?
I think no, I mean, because really we're a feast of fire match, especially this year. I believe we have airs tonight. We have 12 guys in the match. I don't feel like we had that many last year, but I think it gives me an advantage as far as there's a few guys in the match this year that haven't participated in a feast of fire match, so I kind of know what to expect, and hopefully I don't face the fire briefcase. But last year was a huge year for me, 2014. So this year, and I got robbed in my world title shot in Manchester last year because my ex-partner Storm. But this year is all about redemption and trying to get that world title briefcase again. That's really the only one that I honestly care about. My goal in 2015 is to be a world champion, and it starts tonight.
And good luck to you. And we hope that you can win the briefcase for the world title.
Yeah, that's my goal. And I know we're doing UK taping next week. We're doing a big gauntlet where number one contender will be named as well. Whoever wins the gauntlet match is number one contender. And then it's like on top of that with the briefcase. I mean, you're going to have two guys kind of fighting or jockeying for position as far as who's number one contender.
You've worked with several top names in your career to date. Is there anyone that you haven't faced in any promotion that you'd love the opportunity to face?
Yeah, man. Kurt Angle. I talk to Kurt Angle all the time and always ask him when we're going to work. And, his career, he's done so much, man. He's amazing. Definitely a future Hall of Famer. Well, he's a Hall of Famer with Impact already. But when it comes to a guy that's in the locker room that I really, really want to work with, I always tell Kurt he's one of them. And I hope I get the chance to lock up with him before he retires.
Now, with as many people as you've worked with in TNA, given your tenure being there almost 5 years now, is there anyone you're closer with in the back? I know you just mentioned how you talked with Kurt about wanting to do a program with him, but is there anybody that you're closer with in the back than some of the others? If you don't mind us asking.
Yeah, man. No, absolutely not. Me and Ken Anderson are really, really good friends outside the wrestling business. We got a lot in common, whether it be music or acting. We just enjoy riding together, man, and telling stories, and I learn from him. I mean, because you got to look at the guys that he's got a chance to wrestle throughout the year. Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Taker, and I mean, those names go on and on, man. So he's one that I tend to kind of latch up under his wing. Good friend of mine and a very good person.
Switching gears, with TNA's move to Destination America now confirmed, but their future reportedly uncertain towards the end of the days on Spike TV. Was there a personal fear from you regarding the company's future?
No, I was always at peace about it. I was asked this question the other day. I was always at peace about it. I always figured, you know what, man, because we had a meeting back in September where, Dixie talked to us about, hey, there's a few networks that's interested in us. And in my mind, I was like, we're a young wrestling company. And we got the opportunity to go to a new station and help a new station grow while we grow. We were Spike TV's highest rated product. They just, as far as being with Destination America, is great. Their promoting is great. They just put out a big spread in USA Today. They're running Saturday morning shows for us. And that's something Spike TV never really did. I had a good rapport with Spike TV. Everybody I worked with that was involved with them was super cool and everything. But I was never worried. I know a few of the workers in the back may have been, but I just tried to keep a positive attitude my whole life about everything, man. That was one of them. I never really had a fear for anything.
Now, with all the changes that have gone on, has the locker room changed at all for the good or the bad, with all the names coming in and then all the newer talent making names for themselves, such as you or maybe like an EC3 really starting to rise up through the pack. But has the locker room changed at all for the better or the worse?
No, we did tapings a couple weeks ago in New York City, man, and everybody came in and was ready to work. We had 3 long days and just brutal tapings. We had cage matches. We had everything you do backstage. It's just long, grueling days, man, and nobody complained. Our locker room's amazing. They were just ready to get back on the road, I know, ready to, entertain these people. And we're all a family. It's like, I have friends outside the wrestling business, but when it comes to my friends and my close-knit group of family, I guess you could say, it's the majority of them are inside the wrestling business. So it's like, you're used to working with these guys. I used to work with these guys, riding with these guys, and everybody was just gung-ho and ready to go.
Awesome, and it's nice to see that more and more guys. We had Brodus Clay on a few weeks ago, and it's nice to see, contrary to all the reports that came out, that all you guys are optimistic and positive with TNA and everything going forward, and it's nice to see. But let's switch gears a little bit from wrestling a little bit, and we like to talk a little bit of sports on the show also. And Wayne is a fan of the Blackburn Rovers soccer team over in Ireland. Now, he's actually soccer a little bit. I'm not too big. What's up?
I'm not a soccer fan either. But
no, I was just going to say that he was getting me into the sport myself a little bit. Not too big yet. But the Super Bowl is coming up in about a week and a half. Are you rooting for? Are you paying attention to it? Are you a football fan?
I am a football fan. It's not something I like. Try and watch every weekend. I don't watch a lot of sports, but I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Unfortunately, but I don't care as long as the Patriots don't win. I've never been a Patriots fan. We're going to try and watch it over. And you know what? Seattle Seahawks deserve to win after coming back from that friggin' 20-point deficit in like 3 minutes of the game the other day against Green Bay. So I would love to see those guys win again, but. We'll hopefully get a chance to watch it. We'll be in the UK on the Super Bowl, so I'm hoping we'll be at the hotel because of the time difference. We should be back and able to watch the game. So I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a good game regardless. Hopefully there's no deflated balls.
You're one of my favorite interviewees for not being a Patriots fan. Don't mind Wayne. I think he might have went back into postmortem depression. He's a diehard Packers fan.
Yeah, Packers are. Man, that was a rough game.
A little rough. Now, I've seen online that you're religious, and you possibly may have a career path set after wrestling. Was religion something that you were able to use to connect with any of the guys in the locker room? Such as maybe Sting when he was there a few years ago, who was also notably religious, for an example.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely a career path, and I'm trying to choose after wrestling. There's things I do now with anti-bullying and stuff with Mark Merrow and his Champions of Choices in Orlando, Florida. I try youth ministry and all that stuff. But yeah, there's certain, everybody's got their own beliefs, and I'm the one that's never forced it on anyone. We all respect our boundaries, but there are people that, before matches or whatnot, we'll pray together or we'll talk, we'll talk about God or our beliefs and sometimes get in debates every once in a while. But it is something that I share openly. I'm not ashamed of it. And you mentioned guys like Sting and stuff like that. There's a couple of times that I approached him earlier in my career and just, talked to him about certain things because he was a guy that I grew up watching, man. And I respected once he came out even more. But, you kind of obviously can't get on national television and throw God out there. People don't want to see that too much, but it's something that's very important to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit religious myself. I mean, not as much as I probably should be. So it's nice to see somebody that's, true to themselves and true, I had it and I lost. So I'm sorry. But,
No, I get you, man. Yeah, absolutely. I just let my light shine in a different way. I'm all about living positive as well. Like I like to talk to people about living positive and trying to, not be negative about all kinds of situations and just, and I put it out on Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. And you never know who you can reach, man. You got to look at the platform that I'm on as a professional wrestler. There's a lot of kids that watch the product, and my goal is for these kids to, maybe see what I say or read what I say. And if I'm out here throwing the F-bomb around on Facebook and Twitter or saying bad things, these kids are going to think, oh, that's okay for me to do. And in reality, you're not building anything in the future for a child. I mean, they're the future of America. So my goal is to, be positive and be a positive role model for children.
That's awesome.
Switching gears again, we've had guys in the past, and they've told us like what they listen to on the road and what they listen to in the locker room differs from what they listen to music-wise at home. Is that the same with yourself?
Yeah, I got a mix, man. I don't believe, I worship God or read my Bible, I go to church, and I don't believe that me listening to rock and roll or anything like that, because my dad brought me up on Kiss and Alice Cooper, all these bands people always protested against, and you're going to go to hell if you listen to them. And it's me, I don't believe that. Alice Cooper's a a youth minister, and a lot of people don't know that. And he just come out about that. This music doesn't make me think about Satan, but I do listen to a lot of Christian rock, like Skillet, a lot of bands like Casting Crowns and stuff like that. I love attending concerts like that, and there's no shame in it. I'm not a country music fan. I don't like rap music either. So it's Christian rock or classic rock is I'm big on.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be one of my favorite interviewees, being a Skillet fan too.
They're great. I'm going to see him in concert February 6th and February 8th. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Now, we're going to get ready to wrap up here in a couple minutes. But if you don't mind, we usually try to do up a little name association with everybody we get on. Are you up for that?
Sure, man.
All right, first up, we got the NWA.
Now, you just want me to say a person that works with them, or do you want me to say what I think about the NWA?
What you think of them?
The NWA, you know what? I started with the NWA in 2006 and worked with them to the time I signed with Impact. They gave me a huge opportunity, Bill Bearings and guys like that out of Georgia to run with the national title, and they were actually going to put their world title on me. So,
are you there? Oh, I think we lost some guys. It's live radio. This is what happens. Momentarily. There we go. Sorry about this, folks. It's live radio.
Hello?
Gunner, sorry about that, man. We had a little bit of a connection
That's
issue.
Okay, man. No problem.
The last thing we heard you were saying was about that they thought about putting the world title on you when you were the national champion.
Right, yeah, the NWA thought about putting the world title on me, and I could get signed with TNA, so it kind of kiboshed that. But they gave me a huge list of opportunities. I got to wrestle in South America and all over the U.S. for these guys, and just it's really where I kind of came into my own as a professional wrestler as well. So I owe a lot to the NWA and to the workers like Adam Pearce and guys like that in the NWA who gave me an opportunity.
Bill Behrens.
Bill Behrens, I have nothing but good to say about. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings or reviews about Bill, but you know what? Bill is a guy in 2006 when I came to him about coming to NWA Anarchy when I got out of the Marine Corps. He said, yeah, come on. And, he always believed in me, always talked to me about things I needed to change. He's the one that really got my foot in the door during WWE Extra spots in 2007 and with, TNA with Terry Taylor and D'Lo Brown in 2009. So, he's a guy that always looked out for me, and I still talk to him, once a month or so, or see him, and I always thank him. I call him Papa Bill.
Dixie Carter.
Dixie Carter. I wish I could have been the one to power bomber through the table, but Bully Ray got to do that. Dixie has given me an opportunity to wrestle in Impact Wrestling. She loves the company, regardless of how we as the guys feel about her. We still respect her because she's given us an opportunity to work. But everything she does is for the better of Impact, whether it be promotion or whether it be taking our shows on the road, or hopefully this year we're doing maybe some more international tapings in like China and India. So she's always, she's wanting to see the company grow, and that's good. I mean, to have somebody like that.
Jeff Jarrett.
I love Jeff Jarrett. I never had a chance to work with him as far as in the ring. He's a guy that I met back in 2008, 2009, and he really enjoyed my work and talked about bringing me in with, TNA and stuff. And when I did come, he was one that kind of vouched for me and said, yeah, this guy's the real deal. He'll pay his dues. He'll do what he has to do. I remember watching Jeff as a kid, his feuds with like Razor and Shawn Michaels, and I've always just respected him, his work, and, him as a man. I'm really good friends with him and his family as well.
James Storm.
I can't stand James Storm because, what he did to my father and the things he tried to do to me last year. But when it comes to a performer, I respect James. He always goes out there and gives the fans 100, 110%, whether he's good or whether he's bad. He knows how to get him to cheer or get him to boo. He's always thinking about how to better the product, better himself, better his promos. And he's a guy that's taken himself in the past 3 or 4 years and really gotten really, really good shape. And he'll tell you that, man. It's like he's really devoted his time to the gym and just bettering himself, the older he gets.
Magnus.
I want my rematch from Manchester last year because I felt like I can beat Magnus. Magnus is another guy that we get along on certain occasions, but he's all about the product as well, man. He just became a father. I congratulate him on that, but he's a guy that's all about giving 110%.
Taz.
Taz? Is that what you said, Taz?
Yeah.
Okay. Taz is great, man. He's a guy that I love because he does commentating and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to putting a match together and stuff like that. So after every match, if he's commentating my every match, I'll go up to him and ask him for advice. And he's very open and always has been very open to help me out.
Actually, really quick here, if you don't mind. Before I get a couple names after this, but a question just popped in my head. How's Josh Matthews backstage and everything, coming in and taking the reins? You mentioned the commentary with Taz, taking the reins from Mike TNA.
I think the world of Josh. Like as far as I've only got a couple of chances to talk to him. He seemed really cool. He came in and was kind of already part of the family, man. I mean, people welcomed him, and he's just easy to get along with. And when it comes to the commentating, I think it's a tremendous move to take Mike TNA and kind of put him backstage and let Mike TNA do his Saturday morning stuff that he's doing, and bringing in somebody new and kind of refreshing to the commentating. Because I remember when I was a kid listening to even Vince McMahon commentating and guys like that, Bobby Heenan, is just very energetic, and I think it's good to kind of change it up at times. And Josh Matthews is very energetic.
All right, and jumping back into the name association, just got a couple left. Been asking every wrestler we've had on since this happened. CM Punk.
I can't personally. I've never met the guy. You got to look at what he's done, man. I mean, he is fought from underneath, and literally, I mean, from what I hear and watching stuff like that, he's been a guy that they tried to hold down, but he refused to let them hold him down. He's a guy that I would love to work with. Tremendous performer in my eyes. From what I hear, he's kind of bitter. Don't understand why, but we all got our things, man. But when it comes to a workhorse, he's definitely a workhorse.
And that'd be an awesome match, seeing you and Punk also.
I'd love it.
Eric Bischoff.
We touched on this earlier, and he got he's kind of like Bill Barnes. Everybody's got mixed reviews on him, but Eric never set me the wrong way, never did anything wrong. He always helped me out. And if I had, questions or anything backstage, promos I was doing, he was always there to critique me and try to make me better. He's a guy that really he told me, hey, I believe in you, and I think you got a big future, and we just, there's certain things you need to change and better yourself.
We got Ethan Carter III.
He's annoying. He's a Carter, first of all. He's annoying. But sitting back and watching, good things I can say about Ethan is when he first come in to where he is now, his promos are tremendous. He knows how to piss the people off, and his in-ring work's gotten so much better, which I think throughout the years, all of us can say, we've got that chance, Impact's giving these young guys chances to get in there and actually work, and to watch him grow has been great. He's a beast in the gym, so if anybody ever wants to work out with him, he's definitely a beast in the gym.
All right, and lastly here, Gunner.
Who? I'm sorry?
Gunner.
Gunner? I would say, I know myself well, and I'm living my dream. This is what I want to do since I was 5. And my main goal when I first started was since I was a kid is just to be a world champion and be remembered as somebody who worked their tail off, in and out of the ring. It just, just doesn't go with what I do in the ring. It's, how I live my life at home. Like I'm in the gym 6 or 7 days a week, just, trying to better myself at home, watching tapes and stuff like that. Gunner, personally, I can see as a guy that, impact in the future, if not this year, early next year, uses as a face of the company. Not only because of my military history. I'm a young guy. I think I'm pretty good looking. And, the fans are really latching on to me. And they're giving me a lot of opportunities. And every opportunity they've given me so far, I've never failed.
All right, man, and before we wrap this up, I just got one last question that I want to ask you. If you could relive one day in your career once more, what would it be and why?
If I could, I think probably the moment, there's a lot, probably Manchester last year when I worked Magnus. There's nothing I would change about that match, nothing I would change about that night. But if I could relive it, because it was just a tremendous moment for me to come out in Manchester and be in kind of in Magnus's homeland, really. I mean, the people were just super energetic, man, and really into me and into that match. And I just remember in that match and before that match, like standing in the turnbuckle, pointing to the sky like the Macho Man used to do, and just going, man, this is what I dreamed of as a child, wrestling in front of 5,000 to 8,000 people, just screaming and going nuts and really reacting to every single move. And it's always in my mind, and hopefully we do it again this year.
All right, man. Just want to say thank you again for joining us here on Main Event Madness, and look forward to seeing you try to get the briefcase tonight on Impact Wrestling Destination America, 9 o'clock tonight. You guys should root him on. Gunner's going to kick ass like he always does. Gunner, thank you very much, man. We really enjoyed it. Really appreciated you coming on, taking time out of your busy day to join us here on Main Event Madness.
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me on as well.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too. Thanks.
All right, guys. That was TNA Star Gunner. We're going to take a commercial break here, guys, when we get back. But after the commercial break, we're bringing back a segment we used to do here with Wrestling 365, and that's Blast from the Past. I got a couple of them here. There were a couple of my favorite moments in the Rumble. So, yep, we're going to take a little bit of a commercial break here, guys, recollect ourselves. When we get back, we're going to go full board, hype, opinions, predictions for the Royal Rumble. If we got time, we're going to try to cover a little bit of the brand split, possibly coming back, and Daniel Bryan wanting to be the face of SmackDown. And, of course, as I mentioned before, Eric Bischoff's biggest regret from the Monday Night Wars. What is it? You'll find out. The second hour will be back here, guys, in just a few minutes. So you're cruising around the internet looking for some entertainment. What if I told you there's a hard-hitting, fresh, and opinionated podcast out there covering everything from WWE and TNA to the NFL, the NBA, and MLB? Well, that's reality. Main Event Madness is here. Don't miss us every week on MainEventMadness.com as well as on TuneIn Radio and Stitcher.com. Main Event Madness, our wrestling, your sports, simply madness. From the associate producer of The Wrestler, Evan Ginsberg, comes Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV, co-hosted by Steve Ludwig, featuring legends in sports, pro wrestling, and the arts. Lanny the Genius Poffo, Nicole Bass, Oscar from Men on a Mission, and million-selling music hitmakers like Martha Wash of the Weather Girls and Carol Douglas of Doctor's Orders fame appear regularly, as well as the greatest live indie musicians performing live in studio. Saturdays, 11 a.m. at legendstvnyc.com and madhousetv.com, archived 24/7. You missed the birth of your mother and father, don't you dare miss Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV. Looking for more than your average wrestling website? Looking for the fastest growing wrestling news site on the internet today? With quality news, results, and more. Wrestling News Report has everything you'd want in a wrestling website. Al Merriman has you covered with the latest and biggest stories of the day from all around the world of pro wrestling. Check them out today, WrestlingNewsReport.com. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Looking for quality wrestling news with an international flair? Looking for results and news from around the world? Look no further than Wrestling-News.net. Wayne Daly and his crew have you covered from top to bottom, from WWE to TNA to the top independent companies from around the world. Check them out, Wrestling-News.net. Need a break? How about a rope break? Wrestling's rope break, that is. Don't miss every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Wrestling's rope break. Joel O'Brien and Eron Ramadanov give you a fresh and passionate insight on the latest happenings and news from the world of pro wrestling. It's Wrestling's rope break, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, maineventmadness.com and Spreaker.com. Presented by Main Event Madness.
Had to win matches and do everything he could to get back to the Royal Rumble. Who's number 30? After being prohibited from being in it. What? Wait a minute. What the hell? What is this? It's John Cena. John Cena. Oh my gosh. Number 30. This is unbelievable. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God. Triple H's expression told the entire story. The Rock is exploding off of Madison Square Garden. John Cena, the 30th entrant in the Royal Rumble match. And yes, indeed, business just picked up. All the action has stopped in the ring. You've got to be kidding me. John Cena just told Triple H, it's go time.
And it is go time, guys. We're back here on Main Event Madness. It is January 23rd, 2015. We are 2 days away from the Royal Rumble event. We just had on Gunner, which if you guys missed it, you guys are going to want to check us out. maineventmadness.com, iHeart.com. Check us out on iHeartRadio, TuneIn.com, or on TuneIn Radio. You can check us out on Stitcher. Go on YouTube, search Main Event Madness. Our show will be on there in a couple of hours from now. And of course, now, and I guess this is the best time to really announce this, is now we're also available on iTunes. So just another way you guys can always check us out, of course, maineventmadness.com and Spreaker.com/show/maineventmadness. Try saying /show 5 times fast. But, yeah, I mean, awesome interview, and thank you again to Gunner for joining us here on Main Event Madness. Kick-ass tonight. Impact Wrestling again, guys, tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern on Destination America. I didn't say Spike TV during the interview, did I?
I don't think you did. You actually did say Destination America.
Okay. Whew. I almost just said Spike TV just now. But, is Kobe announcing his retirement?
Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
He's just got a torn rotator cuff, that's it.
Oh, okay. I just saw something on Facebook that was like, why Kobe? Why? It's like, oh, God, what the hell did he do now? Did he go up to another hotel room? Yeah, that'll get me kicked off my own podcast for making that joke. Anyway, yeah, Impact Wrestling tonight, guys, 9 o'clock Eastern. Feast or Fired. Will Gunner get the World Heavyweight title briefcase? Find out tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern on Destination America. But let's jump right into it, man. We got the Royal Rumble in 2 days. Are you excited for the Royal Rumble? And I know we touched on this at the beginning of the show with Eron Ramadanov of Wrestling's Rope Break, but we didn't really touch too much on the Royal Rumble match itself.
It's always probably one of my favorite times of the year, man. I love the surprise element. I love, like a Santino. Santino's like one of the final four. Come back, was it like 3 or 4 years ago?
Two, when Alberto Del Rio won it. It was him and Alberto Del Rio, the final two in the 40-man Royal Rumble.
It's moments like that you love. Even Kofi's acrobatics, like from the ring to the barricade.
Did you see Heelbook's drinking game?
Yeah, it's just they always outdo themselves with stuff like that.
He's going to miss the rest of the season. Well, he'll probably be retiring. Sorry, just had a brain fart there. But, yeah, man, so we talked about this before the show. We have 17 guys announced for the Royal Rumble match, and as I mentioned to you, it'll probably go up to about 25, as the Usos haven't been announced for yet. I mean, unless they go the Crime Time route and only one of them participate. And then you got the New Day, you got Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, and Adam Rose, which I'd imagine that they're going to be in the match too. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the New Age Outlaws and or X-Pac, depending on how long the match goes on the pre-show on Sunday night. The New Age Outlaws. That's on the pre-show, right?
No, I think that's on the main card.
That's on the main.
I think the 6-man is on the pre-show. I'll try and just confirm that now. I think the 6-man's on the pre-show.
Ugh. Well, anyway, well, that kind of might rule them out then, unless they kick them off early in the show.
Yeah, the 6-man elimination's on the pre-show, and the New Age Outlaws is on the main card.
God, that's a horrible decision. But yeah, I mean, if all those guys, sans the Outlaws and X-Pac, are in the Rumble, that brings us up to 20. I'd even go on the low end of that 23, depending if the Usos go the Crime Time route where only one of them participate and Xavier Woods doesn't participate. That'd be 23 that they'd be up to. So,
well, Xavier has announced that he's got a bum leg, so I think that might rule him out.
Yep. So at most we're looking at 24, and then you got Orton and Sheamus, which are all but confirmed to be returning. Who am I missing? We talked about this. Who am I missing?
I can't kind of say it because I don't want to leak it out for people. Well, you know who.
Well, they are in Philly. A lot of people are hoping for some ECW alumni to return to the WWE in the event. You know, Rob Van Dam was a name that's been I've seen around, that's been leaked. Not leaked, but rumored to be in there. People are kind of hoping maybe a Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, or Sandman might show up. I know who you're thinking of, and I don't know if we should say it or not. Decisions.
Let's just say it's going down. And Devon needs to get the tables.
So, I mean, we pretty much all just said possibly the Dudleys. So, should be very interesting to see who returns this Sunday, who doesn't return, whether or not it lives up to our hopes and our expectations. And that's the biggest thing for me, is that I'm hoping that, you know, with the kick-ass way that Raw ended and the excitement, and it's a little bit selfish on my part, because as I've been, you know, just like shamelessly mentioning that I'm going to WrestleMania and all this, I'm just excited, and I hope to see that things really start to turn around for WWE, despite the bad couple months of programming they had and everything. And I don't know, I'm hoping that we get a show worthy of our expectations. And James Rolls, former, well, he's a friend of the show, I should say, mentioned that Bo Dallas is also rumored for the Royal Rumble as well. And I mean, if you look at the guys, Wayne, I mean, you got Fandango, and you know who else? And I forgot about this. Justin Gabriel, Fernando, and Diego are in the match as well.
They're not in the match. They're not confirmed, are they?
Yes, they are.
I haven't seen anything about that, but if they are, then that brings up to 20, I think the number is.
I don't know. I hope some of those guys get taken out. You know, maybe one of the, or for the Matadors, maybe they decide to get the tables, as you said, and take them out and take their spots, maybe. Speaking of taking spots, how hilarious was it? Oh, you haven't seen SmackDown.
That I haven't.
It's a minor spoiler, but
I'm going to put you on the spot and make you not talk about SmackDown.
Make me not talk about SmackDown? After doing the show for a year and never talking about SmackDown, the one time I want to talk about SmackDown, I can't.
No, I'm actually going to put you on the spot. The Royal Rumble is Sunday.
Okay.
Let's say there's Final Four. Who can you see winning the Royal Rumble match? The exact same thing as what was given to the panel on Raw last week. Who can you see win the Royal Rumble?
Who do I see winning it, or who do I see as the Final Four?
Well, if you want to answer both, and then who you can see winning all of those four?
The Final Four, I'll be a little bit of a mark here, and I'll say Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Rusev. You know, kind of the
and to win it.
Huh? And the winner?
And to win it.
See, and that's tricky because what you told me yesterday, and I hope that's not the case. I mean, who do I think is going to win is Roman Reigns. Who do I kind of want to win is Daniel Bryan. What about
it's going to be interesting. See, that's the thing, as Eron said earlier on. It's going to make a lot of people interested to see who wins it. Because it's 50-50 right now with people wanting Roman Reigns. There's other people that want Daniel Bryan. And thankfully, this year we don't have the Bautista.
Hopefully it's not exactly with the case with Batista and everything, and the crowd turns on Roman Reigns. But I don't know, man. Who do you? So say we're next Monday. Who's the Royal Rumble winner for you?
Royal Rumble winner for me, Daniel Bryan.
And I mean, it sucks because I mean, even if you go back even a month or two ago here on this podcast, I mean, to me at the time, I thought Roman Reigns' story was going to be fantastic. I mean, would it have been even better if Roman Reigns didn't get hurt? I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing, is that he missed a couple times, right, and it was almost the crucial point of his push, you know, to become the guy. And I think a lot of people wouldn't be as sour on Roman Reigns being the guy going into WrestleMania if he didn't miss the 3 months that he missed.
I just think it's the fact that when he came back, he was kind of pushed straight into it, and that's what kind of soured a lot of people on him. Plus, it was the ridiculous promos he was given.
Hey, listen,
when he came back,
we talked about it all.
Suffering succotash.
Listen, that promo was hilarious because he winked. He basically gave the internet fans an FU to their face. Because you and I,
the wink.
Yes, you and I could try to cut that promo 100 times and we would not get it right the first couple times. You know that as well as I do.
It's just the thing with Reigns. It's kind of questioning me. Like as I said earlier, if Daniel Bryan wins the Rumble, I can see Cena winning the title. I can see Brock versus Seth Rollins. I can see Triple H versus Sting, obviously. But where does it leave Roman Reigns?
The Rock?
He won't be working WrestleMania. Can we all know that? The only thing you can actually see, it could be a selfish thing.
What about
I could see Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose.
What about?
Or I could see Money in the Bank.
I would be very okay with that. That's a pay-per-view that has not needed its own pay-per-view. Especially now that there's only one title. I mean...
The only thing, it has its pay-per-view, like, what was it, 2-3 months after WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to have, like, 2 Money in the Bank winners, if that's the case. So that does, like, it puts things into... I'm after having a brain fart. Like, it makes things kind of more awkward. It's with Roman Reigns. Where can you actually put him if he doesn't win the Royal Rumble?
Dean Ambrose. Or would you put him up against Brock Lesnar anyway?
What was that?
I said, or would you put him against Brock Lesnar anyway?
I don't know, because, as I said, the way things went on Raw, it looked like they were setting it for Lesnar and Rollins. Yeah, they might have been just promoting the Rumble. That was just personal opinion, the way they kind of put it. Like, Cena went straight into the crowd.
What about
was
Rusev?
Forgotten about. Who's that?
What about Reigns and Rusev?
I could see that. Plus, he could be the one that ends Rusev's winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually an interesting match, actually, when you come to think of it.
And they've basically experimented with it on SmackDown. They've had phenomenal matches from what people have said on SmackDown. So, and then they'll pass it off as it's the first time ever or something because they don't think anybody pays attention to SmackDown, which most people don't.
Like, I know what happened on SmackDown with Rusev's match outcome, but what I mean is, like, Rusev to be pinned clean.
Yep. I don't know. They usually have a host or something for WrestleMania. Do we think there's going to be anybody? Do you think it'll just be Hogan again, or
is there a need for it? That's one question. Is there a need for a host this year?
Or could you see it being Austin? Because there was that talk that Austin was going to be involved in some major storylines this year.
They could actually go that route if they want to do, and then kind of have Austin Fallen Knife be there again and do something for WrestleMania 32.
Mm-hmm. Kind of set up the way The Rock did.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of easy way then to have people come in November, kind of go, oh, I want to get a ticket because Austin's wrestling again.
But I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, and that's something let's talk about for a second. Also, is the World Heavyweight Title match that we haven't touched on.
As I said to you, I see Cena coming out with the title.
What's that?
I said, as I was saying to you a few minutes ago with the Royal Rumble match, I can actually see Cena coming out with the title on Sunday.
But you want... I mean, Cena's only going to be a transitional champion this time. I mean, is that really the way you want Cena's 16th world title reign to go?
Well, if they throw out the set, it's got to come off him soon enough. I can't see him defending it at WrestleMania. I mean, they could put it on set, have it taken off him at Fastlane if Lesnar works it, or if Cena works the match against Rollins. Then again, you're transitioning to your hot potato and the title at the Rumble at WrestleMania, at the Rumble at Fastlane, then at WrestleMania.
I mean, for me, I'm hoping that it was a red herring, and that Brock walks out. Ideally, if you want to talk strictly storylines, the best approach you can take is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, or even Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. But if you want the best story, you got to have Roman Reigns as Brock Lesnar as the champion.
This is just something that popped into my head. Why not have Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan win Royal Rumble?
What?
Double elimination, same time.
But then they'll just go back to sudden death thing like they did in 2005.
But then again, they don't have to, because if you think of the Luger and Brett situation, where they faced the Yokozuna.
I guess.
It's just something that, like, if they want to go that route, that they can't decide on a winner.
I don't know. It's going to be... I mean, there would be a different approach. They haven't taken that approach in almost 20 years. It's been over 20 years. It'll be interesting. For sure. Sorry about that, guys. Got a little bit sidetracked there. But yeah, let's jump. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on for the Royal Rumble, sir? I mean, there's nothing really else that matters from that card.
It's not really. To me, it's always about the title match and the Rumble itself.
Yep.
What sets up WrestleMania.
But while we're on the Rumble, you know what, guys? We're going to have another Rumble moment here, a little quick breather, and we'll be right back.
Number 29 on his way. Who's going to join these guys?
You think you know me?
Holy! What? Oh my! The rated R superstar! The former world champion! What? Listen to the ovation! It is thunderous in the Phillips Arena! After what many thought to be a career-threatening injury, Edge has returned!
What did you think of that moment when Edge came back? I mean, it was kind of, you kind of knew it was coming, but at the same time...
I thought you were going to continue. Sorry.
Huh?
I thought you were actually going to continue on when you were talking.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, it kind of, to me, it was kind of known. I mean, that was one of the few Rumbles I haven't seen in the last few years because the joys of working. But, yeah, man, what did you think of that? When Edge came back like that? And the beginning of Matt Striker single-handedly costing himself his own job.
I thought it was actually very well done because everyone knew about Edge's neck problems probably at that time, but they were kind of downplaying things.
Yeah, they knew, but at the same time, it's like, well, his neck is a little messed up, but his Achilles is good, so... But, I don't know, I wish we could hear...
Number 29 on his way!
I wish we could hear that.
Who's going to join these guys?
You think you know me?
I miss hearing Edge's music every week. It's the worst part about the guy with the best entrance theme being retired now.
Would you call it the best entrance team, though?
Absolutely.
Personal opinion, I think they're better entrance teams.
I mean, the only other theme I would consider that's even better than that is CM Punk's.
You see, I'm more old school then, when you come to think of it.
I'm not talking like TV themes or anything like that. I'm talking entrance themes.
That's what I'm talking about. The Undertaker, Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels.
Personal opinion, I like the Undertaker. Or I'm sorry, Edge and Punk's a little bit better. Even Triple H. But let's switch gears here, Wayne. We're going to get ready to wrap up here in a few minutes. Before we get going, there's just a couple more topics I wanted to hit on really quick. So WWE might bring back the brand split.
Yes.
Are you a proponent of the brand split coming back, yes or no?
I've told you this in the past that 2016, I can see it happening in 2017, possibly. Right now, I can't see it happening. I'm not a big fan of it happening unless WWE have a bigger roster.
Unless, well, I mean, with the influx of talent that could be coming up from NXT, you don't think that would help?
That's why I said 2016 or 17. Right now, if it was to happen in 2015, I can't see it happening. Personal opinion.
Selfishly, I'd love to see. I'd love to see the draft, the night after WrestleMania, kind of like circa 2002. That's just being selfish, but I don't know. I'd love to see it back. The only thing I don't like is that there was also talk that the World Heavyweight Championship would be coming back. That to me is stupid. I
actually don't understand that if they're bringing back the World Heavyweight Championship.
What do you mean you don't understand why I think it's stupid?
No, I just don't understand why they're bringing it back. If they
I could
whoever's the champion, have him work both shows.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I could understand they want a world champion on both shows, even though they could have the world champion on both shows, and do the formula in 2002 that they didn't even get a chance to experiment with and see if it would work. I think it would. Raw gets a challenger 1 month, the next month SmackDown gets a challenger. Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown.
The one thing that interests me, though, is the fact that the company, they trademark bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be something
for pay-per-view
in mind.
purposes. For video and online distribution sharing purposes. So,
Gotta make you wonder, though.
The only other thing I could think of is, are they going to do some kind of event NXT versus WWE?
That's actually quite possible when you come to think of it. Especially if what you just said with the trademark purposes.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, everybody was quick to think, oh, it's going to be Raw and SmackDown, but nobody sat there and thought about it. Could it be WWE versus NXT? Which means the internet can blow up because we'll have Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. The internet can self-destruct. Which, by the way, while we're talking about the internet self-destructing, you know, there was talk, and I'm getting sidetracked, and we'll get back to the brand split in a second. There was talk that they might do an NXT match at WrestleMania. You want the internet to explode? Fatal 4-Way TLC match, which was the rumored match I heard, not the Fatal 4-Way part, but a TLC match at WrestleMania for the NXT Championship. Fatal 4-Way TLC match for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn defending against Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Hideo Itami. Kenta, Prince Devitt, Kevin Steen, and El Generico on WrestleMania in a TLC match. You want the internet to self-destruct? That would do it. I don't know. I mean,
one thing with NXT though, they are becoming a bit active.
What do you mean?
The fact that they're deciding to move out of
out to Ohio
for the first live event.
Mm-hmm.
Outside Florida.
So it should be interesting. I hope they come up my way. I'll definitely go check them out. But yeah. Daniel Bryan, you know, touching on the whole brand split thing, Daniel Bryan wants to be the face of SmackDown. Says he wants, you know, like King of the Ring and other specials to be SmackDown exclusives. And, you know, if he has his way with some other things that they could do for SmackDown, that it could beat Raw's ratings. How do you feel about that?
I think it's actually very good from Daniel Bryan to say that he wants to be a face of, like, the other show, as well as considered in WWE. For years upon years. The fact that the King of the Ring and other specials like that, that brings in viewership.
Which we haven't had in 7 years either. The longest drought in that tournament's history that we haven't had one.
Like, I mean, if let's say you had the Intercontinental title just on SmackDown for, give or take, 8 weeks,
mm-hmm.
and you turned around and said, tonight on SmackDown, it's a Gold Rush challenge, and then you name eight people.
That's what they need to do. They need tournaments back. You know, something to get people, to draw people in and just make people want to tune in. And I think, you know, I mean, in a sense, we kind of do see a brand split anyway, because there's certain guys that don't appear on Raw, or that don't appear on SmackDown. I mean, they all appear on Raw, but like, for a while there, Sheamus was only on SmackDown. Orton was only on SmackDown for a little bit. Bryan, for a little bit, was only on SmackDown when Cena came back. I mean, even when Cena came back, he was only on SmackDown for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Which, that, to me, was probably the most refreshing thing I've seen in quite some time from WWE, was seeing Cena on SmackDown regularly. But it'd be interesting. I mean, I'd love to see the brand split back, because that, to me, was one of the best times for WWE. But I mean, it brings another element to WWE that we haven't had since the brand extension. But I mean, if they do it, they need to do it and be strict with it. You know, they can't appear on each other's shows. I'd give them a couple shows a year that they're able to cross brands. You know, a SmackDown special a year, and I'd let them only appear on Raw the night before WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania, the draft if they do one, and maybe one other special throughout the year, and that's it. I mean, that was the biggest thing, you know, or that ruined the brand split the last time. Like, every other week, and then you had the SmackDown and ECW thing together. But every other week, you had Oh, these guys from Raw. Oh, they're on SmackDown. But these guys from SmackDown, they're on ECW. And these guys from ECW are on SmackDown. And then those guys from ECW are on Raw. Like, it just made no sense.
Yeah, that kind of boggled my mind as well.
But I think if they do it, they need to do it, and stick to it. They don't appear on Raw if they're on SmackDown and vice versa. And I think if they could do that, be strict with it, and do it creatively. And there was a thing I saw on Facebook, George Romero, a friend of WrestlingNewsReport.com, said something about how the WWE's process of producing shows and everything is going to be changing after the Royal Rumble. I mean, I kind of don't believe him. That could just be like a random report. But at the same time, if last week's Raw is any indication of that,
that actually felt like an Attitude Era kind of style of Raw.
That's what I said to somebody. It was did I say it to you maybe? Was that was the closest to an Attitude Era ending of Raw that I've seen in years. And I mean, it was almost as close to, and let me ask you, best show since Raw 1000? Or better than Raw 1000?
Oh, that's going to put me on the spot.
Yep.
Just for the sake of the ending, I'm going to say better.
It was better?
That's just for the sake of the ending.
Yeah, the ending to me was awesome. And then you have the possibility of Brock Lesnar turning babyface, which that throws a whole new element into the mix for WrestleMania. But yeah, I mean, I'd kind of like to see. All right, so say it's post WrestleMania 34, right? 15, 31, 33. Sorry, 2017, the night after, and they want to do. They announce they're going to shake things up again, as Vince would say, and bring back the.
A lot of more talent on the roster, considering who they have now, and I don't like to see anyone lose their job, but who they're going to probably get rid of down the line.
I mean, in 2015, to me, kind of seems like it's a real transition year. If Brock leaves, then you'll have Brock gone. Kane's contract's up this year. Isn't Mark Henry's contract up this year also?
That I'm not aware of.
But even him, he could retire. He's been so injury prone the last few years. There's talk Goldust might be retiring, and we're time permitting, we were going to touch on that a little bit. But yeah, you got all these part timer guys. Khali's gone. You have all these bigger guys and all these older guys that are gone. And I mean, if they're gone, I mean, you really only have who? I mean, if Undertaker's gone. And Triple H is sticks to his authority and doesn't wrestle anymore. Batista's gone. I mean, the older guys on the roster left are really what? Orton and Cena, right?
Yeah. Actually,
Orton, Cena, and Sheamus would be the oldest guys on the roster. Huh?
I said I actually don't think there's actually anyone older than them on the roster, is there?
I think in order it would be Cena, Sheamus, and Orton. Which not a lot of people realize that Sheamus is older, but even the guy, the pasty bastard, looks like he's still in his late 20s, even though he's in his mid 30s now, right?
That's one thing as well with Sheamus. I don't know if you've noticed this or not. He's interviewed backstage.
He has no hair.
Yeah, he looked bald.
Either that, or he has some kind of haircut underneath the hat.
Something that fades away the hair, I think, possibly.
The hipster look from Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, I mean, if Sheamus returns on Sunday, he needs to be heel, bar none. Bottom line. I mean, his babyface run has come to a screeching halt about a year ago, and I really have no desire to see Sheamus if he comes back as a babyface.
It has to happen anyway come Sunday, if he does come back. I mean, have him come back, everyone's going to be like, yeah, it's Sheamus. And then whoever's in the ring...
It would be interesting if they want to do the match that they wanted to do last year, Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. And if Sheamus come back and eliminate Bryan. And you could even do a twisted angle of that, of Sheamus being with the Authority now.
I don't want Sheamus to eliminate Bryan. I don't want Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan.
Listen, it's not the worst storyline we can get.
I know, but personal opinion, I know I'm being greedy when I say this, but I actually want Daniel Bryan to win the Rumble.
I do too, but I mean, that's just another direction I was thinking they could go in. But, it should be, it's definitely going to be an interesting weekend. You know, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever news comes out of who's flying into Philly and who was spotted where and all the rumors and stuff. And then, of course, that bleeding into Sunday and then the Rumble. And then you got the post-Rumble Raw, which really half-assedly kicks off the road to WrestleMania. But
I think it's already kicked off.
Yeah, I mean, this week's Raw kind of did a pretty good job of that. But really quick here, Wayne, before we go, Eric Bischoff was interviewed recently and said he had one big gigantor regret of... What the hell's that?
No, I don't.
A regret from the Attitude Era in the Monday Night Wars. His biggest regret, ultimately, from his career, was not letting D-Generation X into the arena when they invaded in the Army tank. And, you know, he was curious to see what would have happened. I mean, I think we're all curious to see what would have happened. I don't think anyone really knew, like, if they invaded, got into WCW and came on WCW Nitro, what the hell would have happened?
I actually think there would have been welcome open arms. That's being brutally honest.
In the thick of the Monday Night Wars? I don't think so.
Oh, I actually do, man. Trust me, I actually do. Because Vince said that if WCW retaliated, he'd have just opened the door because it would have meant ratings.
I mean, it would depend. I mean, if they bumped into Conan and DDP and some of these guys that weren't WWE guys, yeah, I started sounding like Aller, WWE. If they bumped in, you know, the first guys they saw were, you know, Hall, Nash, X-Pac, then all right, welcome arms. Welcome, open them, yeah. But if it was some of the other guys, I don't know. I mean, you still had, I mean, God, think about who was there at the time. You still had Jericho there, and Benoit wasn't there. Or Benoit was there, I'm sorry. Guerrero was there, Saturn. I mean, you had, what the hell were they called? The
Radicals.
Thank you. I don't know. I would have loved to see it. I wish I watched back then. But, I don't know. It would have been interesting. I mean, that's definitely something, if I was Bischoff, I would kind of be like, what would have happened if? But, I don't know. Just wanted to touch a little bit on that. And also, before we go, you know what was a feel-good story?
What's that?
And I've seen it, and it's blowing up on Facebook and news sites today. And that was what Triple H did during Raw. Right in the thick of the main event, the main segment of the show, the overrun segment. You had Triple H yell at a kid and then broke character and comforted the kid. I mean, what did you think about seeing that?
Personally, I have to applaud Paul Levesque. And yeah, I actually didn't say Triple H. I had to applaud Paul Levesque. Because that was Paul Levesque being Paul Levesque. That wasn't Paul Levesque being Triple H.
And
it just shows how kind-hearted the guy is.
And it's not something that you would have ever seen Vince do either, though.
Oh no, he'd just stay the character and then wait for the show to end to do it.
And I mean, and then Triple H brought the kid and his father backstage. Sorry, just saw a funny meme, but it was nice of that he brought the kid and his father backstage, and yes, Wayne, James is calling you out. You don't pronounce the S on Levesque. It's Levesque.
It's Levesque.
No, it's not. He doesn't pronounce the S. It's
Go
French.
to the Arnold Classic and watch what they say. Being inducted to the 2015 International Sports Hall of Fame, Paul Levesque, better known as Triple H. Thank you and good night.
Telling you, you don't pronounce the S. But anyway, James, this is why we don't argue English pronunciations with Wayne. It doesn't go very well for us.
It's not English pronunciations, it's French. And considering I've learned it for about the last 9.5 years, I think I should know.
Damn! And for good measure.
Damn!
But, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see Triple H do something like that for the kid, make it up to him. I mean, from the reports of it, he kind of snapped at the kid. I mean, granted, you're going to see guys that are, I mean, he's a bad guy. He's a villain. I mean, he's not going to be John Cena coming over and shaking your hand, jumping in the crowd and hugging you like he did after the match, which Cena still, to me, ran away like a little bitch after the main event. I mean, that was as close to a heel move as Cena's done in quite a while, but nobody looks at it like that.
I just thought, as I said earlier on as well, I just thought literally with Cena going, that if you look at the little nitty bitty points of Raw, Cena left the ring as soon as Brock hit the ring.
You know what? And that you could be a conspiracy theorist. Did he know something was going to happen? Maybe that was. Maybe that was.
Got to know something's happening.
Maybe that was his one act of courtesy from Brock Lesnar, and Brock's like, I'm hitting the ring. If you're there, I'm going to kick your ass. If you're not, I'm going to kick Seth's ass.
I just think it's going to be Lesnar or Rollins, man. It's just the way it's going. It's just probably me looking at the nitty bitty points.
It's going to be interesting, man. We got a lot of variables to be answered, a lot of questions to be answered, and that's the best part about this year's WrestleMania versus last year, which you kind of already knew what was going to happen last year. This year, not so much. But, guys, I think that's going to do it here for us here at Main Event Madness for this week. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our show and our interview with TNA Superstar Gunner. What's this weekend? The Pro Bowl's this weekend. All right, so nobody's going to be watching football this weekend. All eyes are probably going to be on the WWE for once. Okay, I mean, more eyes will be on WWE. How about that? There's no winning with this son of a... there's no winning. No winning at all.
I didn't say boo, I said way.
Damn! Everybody out there, thank you again for joining us here on Main Event Madness. We hope you enjoy the rest of your... And,
I just want to punch you in the face for doing that.
Oh, I couldn't play Hump Day because it's not a Hump Day and Al's not here. But we hope we'll be back next week. Hopefully, normal day, normal time. Fallout from the Rumble, Fallout from Raw, SmackDown spoilers, a couple other things. Tough Enough coming back. We'll give our thoughts on that next week. Time ran out this week, and I'm sure there'll be some more news and a bunch of other stuff to talk about, including Super Bowl 49. We're going to be giving our predictions next week. The final show of January 2015. I can't believe January's already over with. And I am officially almost 6 weeks away. Oh, no, 2 months and 1 day away from going to WrestleMania. Sorry, don't mean to brag about that. I'm just excited it being my first time there. Wayne?
Wait for it. You're going to WrestleMania.
WrestleMania?
Mania.
Wayne, thank you for joining me today and being my co-pilot for the week.
Not a problem.
Looking at, oh God. Sorry guys, I just saw the link or picture that Wayne just linked me. Wayne, thank you for joining me as co-host this week. Aaron, you're not here, but thank you again for joining us in hour one. Gunner, thank you for coming on Main Event Madness today. Guys, have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your Friday. Be safe. Be smart. I don't really know. I'm starting to go like Al. I guess I've been doing this show with him too long. Follow us on Twitter at John MEM Radio, at Al Me Madness, at WN_net for Wayne's Twitter handle. Aaron_PWP, that's Aaron's Twitter handle. Of course, Wrestling R Break on Twitter, that's Wrestling Rope Break, and Joel O'Brien's Twitter handles. MainEventMadness.com. Find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spreaker. Of course, we're on iTunes for the first time. This is our first new show on iTunes. Check us out on iTunes, Main Event Madness. Search us there. You'll find every show that we have on Main Event Madness and Wrestling 365, I do believe. Excuse me. On that note, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. God willing, we'll be back here next week. Hopefully, same time, same place. Or I should say same time. Normal time, normal day. Hopefully Al's back. Fingers crossed. I doubt it. Will probably be me and Wayne. I'm rambling. I'm shutting up. Goodbye, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss a part or all of today's show? No problem. Head over to MainEventMadness.com where you'll find today's show as well as every show in our history. So once again, for all of us here at Main Event Madness, I'm John Curry. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here next time. Have a good one, everybody. So long.
You're still here? The show's over. Go home. Enjoy your weekend. Go. Do it. Go already. Bye.